What's up guys, Ruppy here, welcoming you to week 4 of UNPL Season 5. Last week, the music came to a screeching halt for our Columbus Swoo Cassette Beasts edition, as Kelly and his Maryland Torterrapins dealt us a rather nasty defeat for our first loss of the season. Try as we might, he perfectly countered our strategy, leaving me unable to break through the likes of his Terra Captain Dipplin and at the mercy of his Sneasler. It was a tough loss for sure, and it may have led to a complete remixing of the tapes in our roster, even if it wasn't entirely a decision I felt too comfortable about at the time. For week 4, our Swoo will be going up against the Los Angeles Lucarios, coached by One Crash, who I believe won the previous season of UNPL's Academy League to punch their ticket into the main league lineup. As we look at the tail of the tape, the first thing you'll probably notice is that, as I just said, I have an entirely remixed roster. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll have a link to it down in the description as well as a card up in the corner that goes into full detail about what happened and my thoughts on the new team. But long story short, I got bombarded with trade requests and transactions the day I played Kelly last week and ultimately got talked into making them, which has resulted in the roster you now see. I mentioned in that video I was a little iffy about it even after everything was locked in, but as I prepped for this game, I think this new lineup has started to grow on me. That said, let's talk about One Crash's roster, because they've got a load of problems for us. Their team can easily be described as pseudo-sun, sort of like the rough idea I tried to play with for my own roster last season. They have a lot of mons that can manually set it up with Sunny Day to benefit powerhouses like Ogerpon-Hearthflame, Charizard, and our old friend Raging Bolt, as well as Grassy Surge support from Thwacky to cover any ground weaknesses they have. There is also a lot of bulk on this team we'll have to break through, whether it be Corviknight, Screamtail, the aforementioned Raging Bolt, Quagsire, or especially Terapagos, who is going to be an absolute pain because of its Terra Shell ability, especially if Screamtail provides potential Wish and Screen support. They also have 3 Terra Captains: Charizard, who can Terrasilize into a Fire, Fairy, or Ghost type, Thwacky, who can Terrasilize into a Grass, Ghost, or Poison type, and Murkrow, who can Terrasilize into a Dark, Ghost, or Fairy type. One thing I find a little ironic is that One Crash's pseudo-sun team has a big problem with Fire types, which is just begging for a barbecue, courtesy of our first new team member on the playlist, Smogmagog the Infernape. There's a number of ways I could have gone with Ape this game, as I've shown how versatile and unpredictable it can be when I had it back on my Season 3 roster. Ultimately, I decided my best approach was a mixed set with Boots to avoid hazards, especially any potential Sticky Web from Rabombi that could slow us down. I've got just enough speed with a naive nature to outrun max speed Charizard with a boosting nature, Fire Blast to take advantage of the sun without dealing tons of recoil damage to myself or locking myself in for a few turns, and Close Combat for Fighting Stab to especially try to break through Terapagos. Rock Slide is to take advantage of the huge rock weakness their team has, namely Charizard before Terra and Ogerpon, and I also threw Grass Knot on there just in case they think they can use Quagsire to try to stop our living furnace. Next up is one of the few familiar faces we still have, Dandelion the Whimsicott. Dandelion has kind of a weird double role this week in being both an offensive presence as well as a prankster tailwind setter to support the team. Moonblast works as solid fairy stab while U-turn allows me to pivot, especially after getting tailwind up, and Boots allows it to continue to be a nuisance without hazard chip jamming the tape. I've also got enough speed to always outrun a max speed Screamtail if Protosynthesis isn't active. Hurricane is probably the option that caught your eye though. It is an unusual move to see on a Whimsicott, especially knowing full well my opponent can and probably will set Sun. But it's part of a plan I'll touch on soon enough, especially when you consider that One Crash's roster has a very notable flying weakness as well. Before we get to that, however, let's talk about the new beast who I'm hoping will be the main beneficiary of Dandelion's Tailwind shenanigans, our Bloodmoon Ursaluna, Scarleteeth. Big Bad Scarleteeth is running a calm mindset with leftovers to tank hits and keep healing up, running quite a bit of special bulk to work in tandem with those calm minds to make it incredibly hard to stop its rampage. I've got Modest Nature to further boost its special attack despite the minimal investment, But the key figure here is the 144 speed EVs, which is just enough that, even with that modest nature, will allow Scarleteeth to always outrun a Jolly Max Speed Ogerpon with a Tailwind at our backs. Bloodmoon, Hyper Voice, and Earth Power cover all I think I'll need, and while that may not seem like a good idea in the face of something like Corviknight, I can promise you that Scarleteeth can break through that metal bird with enough boosts. Another new beast I'm really excited to try out is one of our brand new Terra Captains, and named after one of my personal favorite cassette beasts, Jellyton the Muck. I'm going to be completely honest here. Muck is actually a huge problem for One Crash's team. With this EV spread plus an Assault Vest, Jellyton can easily tank a lot of One Crash's offensive options and immediately threaten back. Thunder Punch covers the Corviknight, while Drain Punch covers Terapagos and their mascot Lucario. Knockoff is always fantastic utility for getting rid of items, and I have Poison Jab for stab. Jellyton's #1 objective in this game, however, is using its Poison Touch ability in any way necessary for the 30% chance to poison anything it makes contact with, ideally with the extra 30% chance from Poison Jab itself to poison that Terapagos. If I can permanently prevent that thing from being able to use Terra Shell, it's going to make my life a whole lot easier and prevent any similar messes like what happened with Kelly's Dipplin last week. I'm running Terra Grass this week, but I'm going to be honest. Outside of using it defensively if I absolutely need it against Raging Bolt's Electric Stab or potentially Earth Power from Terapagos, or any Earthquakes if they don't bring Thwacky for terrain, I really don't have any plans to Terra this game, as Muck's Poison typing is actually far more valuable in most matchups here. Now, I said I would get back to the reason why I'm risking Hurricane on our Whimsicott, which now leads me to the new Archangel on our roster, in the Tower of Lies and Lover of Bad Jokes, Baboleth the Slowking. I have a bit of a weird but interesting plan with Baboleth. Obviously we have Regenerator, and I'm also running Slack Off for healing, and I also have a Rindo Berry to cover both Ogerpon and a potential Solar Beam from Charizard. I split my defenses like this to not only allow Baboleth to take physical hits decently well still, but to also try and make the most of its special bulk in case I find myself staring down Solar Power Zard in the sun, which I'm aiming to cut off by using Rain Dance. I could have gone Chilly Reception to also be able to pivot, but Rain Dance actually works better for me for two reasons. Not only does it give me perfect accuracy Hurricanes to fire off with Dandelion, but the rain also hinders the likes of Zard and Ogerpon, neutralizing two huge threats just like that, and forcing One Crash to have to manually set Sun back up, giving me time to take advantage. With Scald to try and spread potential burns, and Future Sight being pretty spammable against the roster, Baboleth is an integral part of our game plan. Its jokes could still use some work though. Last but not least, we have Decibel the Noivern. Since our old Dragapult was nicknamed Jin Bell for the fusion of Cassette Beasts Jin and Tonic and Decibel, well, now we have one half of that old fusion at least. To honor the one I will hopefully have a chance to try my hand with again someday. Regardless, Decibel is not playing around this week, as I'm packing choice packs to try and just straight up blow through One Crash's roster. I've got Hurricane for Flying Stab, and also take advantage of the rain that Baboleth can hopefully set up. Flamethrower to take advantage of the sun that One Crash can set. Draco Meteor to simply open up holes for us, and U-turn for pivoting. Thanks to Infiltrator, Decibel does not care for any potential screens from Screamtail, who I benchmarked for to make sure Decibel can always outpace it outside of Sun, and do what needs to be done. That's going to be the playlist for Week 4, using our new and hopefully improved roster. A huge thank you to Dapper Snapper for the help in building this week. It's greatly appreciated as always. So, will a new roster of Cassette Beasts help us to bounce back from our first taste of defeat? Will One Crash prove that letting myself be swayed into making all these changes was a big mistake? We'll find out when it's battle time. Alright, it is battle time! New team, new beasts, new Columbus Swoo. So let's see, Terapagos, Raging Bolt, Corviknight, Hearthflame Mask Ogerpon, Screamtail, and Charizard. So, I mean, kind of what I expected, honestly. I know Quagsire, Thwackey, Lucario, Rabombi, maybe even Murkrow are possibilities, but for the most part, yeah, this is about what I expected, I think. Charizard's the only Terra Captain he brought. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Screamtail lead or even a Corviknight lead, honestly. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead Decibel. Worst case scenario, I can just U-turn out. But yeah, I think we can make this work. We'll lead Decibel and maybe start breaking stuff right out of the gate, or just do some U-turn scouting. So, one crash. Good luck, have fun. Make sure you guys go check out their side of the battle. Give them a like, a sub. And let's get the train going, as we're just going to start with the Terapagos. Alrighty. Not wasting any time in getting this thing up and running. Fair enough. So, I could very easily just U-turn out and break Terra Shell right now. I could take a Terra Starstorm. You know what? I'm just going to fire off a Specs Draco right out of the gate. And miss, because of course. Because of course. I think I'm going to get pop with the Terra Starstorm that does a little more than I was expecting. Okay, noted. Noted. So I think you might actually be a more offensive Terapagos, potentially. I'm just going to go ahead and go into Baboleth. Worst case scenario, I could maybe burn this thing with a Scald. Rapid Spins for a speed boost, okay. That is fine with me. Nothing really wants to take a Scald right now. I'm going to Future Sight, actually, because he's got nothing that really, okay. I see where this is going. I'm not a fan of it. So he is the Double Dance set, actually, it looks like. Or something along those lines. Which is fine. I'm just going to go ahead and Scald. Maybe I can get a burn. Try to start wearing this thing down that way. That is perfectly fine. A Scald will break this thing's Terra Shell. At the very least. So, about 90-ish% maybe. Which is fine. I'm just gonna Scald again. I guess I'm just fishing for the burn at this point. I should be able to take this Terra Starstorm. I'm more especially... Oh, wow! That did a lot more than I thought it was going to. I was gonna take the Future Sight on top of that. And now I need to figure out what to do from here. Okay, this Terapagos became more of a problem than I thought it was going to be very quickly. All I've seen so far is Calm Mind, Rapid Spin, Terra Starstorm. Which is going to do a ton to me. I think I might just let Decibel go. I kind of need Baboleth for potential Rain Dance shenanigans later. I hate this, but... yeah, this thing became a very big problem right out of the gate. And I don't know how to feel about that. I'm going to go into Jellyton. If he has Earth Power as another attacking move, that's about as much as Terra Starstorm does. I think I'm just gonna go for the Drain Punch. I wanted to go for the Poison Jab and try to fish for Poison Jab, Poison Touch, Poison. But I think healing up with Drain Punch is more important right now. As he's gonna withdraw. Okay. Terapagos' Terra Shell is broken, though. I do have that working in my favor. Into the Corviknight. Fair enough. Do a decent chunk with Drain Punch. And it is leftovers. Noted. Okay. And I also saw it as pressure for its ability. I'm gonna go ahead and fire off a Thunder Punch on this thing. So we've got dueling Tailwind strategies going this game, I see. And that did quite a bit. Interesting. Are you more specially bulky? Corviknight, potentially? I'm gonna go ahead and knock off those leftovers. As he just U-turns out. Okay. That is fair. So whatever comes in now is about to have its item knocked off, which will be very helpful. Well, unless it's Ogerpon, but would he switch Ogerpon into this thing? No, Raging Bolt. Which is not, booster energy, it was leftovers. Well, not anymore. Alrighty. So, I'm AV, so I'm perfectly content here. I'm just gonna poison jab. As he Calm Minds. Completely fair. I am AV, so I am not afraid of this thing in the slightest. I'm just gonna poison jab. Do a good chunk to it. Get the poison touch, so there is that. This is pretty much exactly why I brought Jellyton to this game. Muck is honestly really good right now. Let's see, you're at about... a little above 30-ish? Another poison jab should kill. I'm tempted to go for the Drain Punch just to stay healthy, but... Now, we'll just go Poison Jab. We'll get rid of this thing. As he T-Bolts. Jellyton takes that. I fire up his Poison Jab, and that is Raging Bolt gone. And there goes the Tailwind right along with it. Okay. Not bad, honestly. Raging Bolt being out of the way is kind of nice. It kind of makes things a little easier on Slowking, trying to get that thing back into position later. As well as keeping Infernape good, as Scream Tail is going to come in now. Interesting. I am curious about you now. I'm going to go straight into Babelith. It's not that Jellyton can't handle this thing, even if it does have, say, Psyshock. But if he's gonna pull Sunny Day on me right now, I can immediately counter that. Reflect, okay. So there is that. I'm just gonna slack off then to get Babelith health again. Reflect. Wish. You are probably trying to get Terapagos set back up if I were to hazard a guess. I'll just go ahead and Future Sight. I would not be surprised to see Terapagos right about now. Yep. There it is. Only the Reflect, though. And this thing is back to full. I'm going to go back into Jellyton. I know he's probably going to Calm Mind up, but if nothing else, I could potentially knock off whatever item this thing has. Maybe try to get it poisoned. As he does Calm Mind, okay. I should have just enough HP where I'm out of range of Terra Starstorm. I'm just going to knock off whatever item you're holding. We'll go for the 30%. Maybe an attempted 60% roll would have been better with Poison Jab, but Earth Power, which Jellyton does take. So Earth Power is your last move. I had a feeling that was the case. And at least be able to knock off whatever item you've got. I do get the Poison Touch. That is really nice on this thing, honestly. That is really nice. Choppleberry, okay. And it's gonna take Future Sight. Honestly, that could not have worked out any better. This thing's at about 60-ish%. This thing being poisoned is huge because that pretty much really screws over Terra Shell at this point. I'm gonna try to go for the Drain Punch, but I think I'm just gonna let Jellyton go as he gets a Rapid Spin off. That is fair. So, got the Rapid Spin kill, which is fine. Not a fan of that. I need this Reflect gone now. This thing is causing me all sorts of headaches right now. I'm gonna go into Dandelion. And I'm gonna go ahead and set up a Tailwind. I would be willing to let Dandelion go for... Oh! Okay. There's a switch. Into the Ogerpon. Alright, that's fine. I've got a Tailwind up, which I am perfectly fine with. Oh, you are a bit of a problem. I'm gonna try to go for the Hurricane. And I do end up hitting it. Which is gonna take a huge chunk out of this Ogerpon. As he sets up spikes! Okay. Well, there goes the Reflect, which I really needed gone. I'm gonna try to go for another Hurricane. As he switches out. Okay. That's fine. Into the Corviknight. Perfectly fine with that. It will definitely take this Hurricane. Still has its leftovers, which is a bit annoying, but we can make do. Let's see, I will have one turn left of Tailwind. I'm curious what you've got for me. I'll U-turn out, just for the extra time. Well, I mean, it'll probably heal off more from the leftovers, honestly, but... I'm incredibly tempted to go into Ursaluna right now. It is incredibly tempting. I'm not gonna lie. I'll go into Babbleth though. We'll be a little safe about this. And we'll take the Spike, which is fine. Just U-turns out. Probably back into Scream Tail if I had to hazard a guess. Or into this thing, which is fine. I'm gonna Rain Dance. As he Horn Leeches, okay. Good to know. So I will at least have my Rain going for me. Horn Leech. Alrighty then. Let's see. I'm gonna go into Dandelion. And we'll go from here. Try to make this work. So Dandelion is it. Okay. 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 Really? I'll Tailwind. As I probably lose Whimsicott here. To Ivy Cudgel, I presume. Yep. Alright. That is... Not as fine as I would like, to be honest. But... call me crazy, but I'm gonna go into Scarleteeth. Because with the Tailwind, I benchmarked specifically to outrun Jolly Max Speed Ogerpon. So I should be in position to pop something with a Bloodmoon right now and do a ton of damage. Tailwind's gonna allow me to outspeed this thing. Goodbye, Ogerpon! Alright. Not exactly in a bad spot. Could be in a better one, honestly, but it's fine. I'm gonna Calm Mind up in your face. All I've seen so far is U-turn and Tailwind. I would imagine maybe Roost? Calm Mind is still gonna help out immensely, though. No matter what. As you just go for a Tailwind of your own. Okay, that is fine. Scarleteeth's just gonna keep healing back up. I am honestly not that concerned about your... well, unless that is a... let's see. My Tailwind expires this turn. I'm just gonna Calm Mind again. Maybe that's a physical Charizard? If it is, that might actually be a bit of a problem. I guess time will tell. He just U-turns out. Okay. That is fine. I want to imagine Zard's coming in now. That's what I would presume anyway. No Screamtail. Which does get the Photosynthesis boost. Well, never mind that. I mean, still got Tailwind going, but... I mean, maybe a Reflect gets set up here? I'm just gonna Calm Mind again. As he wishes. That is fine. I do not care in the slightest for Terapagos. I do not care in the slightest. Because I can break through that thing. I don't think the Screamtail can touch me. And this thing could heal Terapagos back up, but at this point, I don't know what exactly that would do. I'm gonna Hyper Voice. Preserve my Bloodmoon. He does Light Screen, which is completely fair. Just gonna heal back up the Wish. I mean, at this point... what's stopping me from just continuing to Calm Mind? Nothing, I don't think. Yes, the Light Screen is going to be a pain, but... I'm going to Calm Mind again. I literally have no reason not to. Psychic Noise to prevent me from healing. That is fine. That will stop my leftovers, but... that really does not do a whole lot to Scarleteeth right now. Let's see, 2 more turns of screens. I could reasonably... a Hyper Voice. Yep, that knocks this thing into a position where... well, there goes my, stopped healing. I'm gonna Hyper Voice again, because this should... I think this is... well, this thing is probably Light Clay, but... even still, this should do a ton of damage to whatever's about to come in. Which is gonna be the Corviknight. Alright, that's gonna be a little annoying. Hyper Voice still takes a chunk out of it, though. It's gonna heal up. Alright. So, Ursaluna's still in a really good spot right now. I've still seen nothing from this thing as far as outside of Tailwind and U-turn. I'm just gonna go ahead and fire for Bloodmoon. It should do over half of this thing, even through the light screen, considering I'm +5. Sets up another Tailwind, fair enough. Alright, so based on the order of events I'm seeing here, 2 more turns of light screen. You probably U-turn out. So I'm gonna Hyper Voice because it will definitely you Brave Bird this time, which crits me. Well, that's a little annoying. Alright. So, Brave Bird. No body press, which is nice. Brave Bird should be doing... I'm just gonna polish you off with another Hyper Voice as you roost. Okay. So, Earth Power actually would have been the better play in retrospect, but it's fine. It's fine. That's more leftovers healing for Ursaluna, as I realize this game is now drastically slowed down compared to how fast-paced it was earlier. Apologies for that. Didn't think we'd get into this kind of stalemate. But the light screen is gone now. I'm gonna fire off a Bloodmoon. It will definitely... At +5, it's definitely OHKOing this thing, even if he roosts up. He's just gonna roost, which is completely fine. Because at this point, Corviknight should go down, and that should be more leftovers healing for Ursaluna. Not quite. Almost had this thing, though. There goes the Tailwind. I'm gonna Calm Mind to get to +6. Maybe you set the Tailwind back up, maybe you don't. But he's trying to pressure stall me. I'm realizing that now. The Brave Birds, which... Does it do enough in recoil to take this thing out? It does not, by the looks of things. And I know that without the Tailwind, I do outrun him, which is completely fine. I'm just gonna Hyper Voice, preserve my Bloodmoons, get rid of this thing at long last. So that raises an interesting question now of what comes in. Because just about everything... That's going to be the Charizard. Which... does not have... If it's Solar Power, it doesn't have any sort of boosts. I mean, maybe it's Physical. Physical's about all I can think of. I'll go ahead and Hyper Voice. That should take this thing out. As he overheats. Which, at +6... Oh, Scarleteeth is eating that for days. And that's the end of Charizard. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Scarleteeth wins from here. So my transactions end up working out. Ursaluna-Bloodmoon showing itself to be a complete and utter monster. I'm just gonna Earth Power you just to save my other stuff. Psychic Noise. That's fair. That is fair. And all that remains is the Terapagos, which... It's poison, which would have kept it from really getting the full benefit of Terra Shell anyway. We're just gonna go ahead and end this battle in style. I should be able to tank this Terra Starstorm. Oh yeah, that is the end of that. Ursaluna-Bloodmoon. Unbelievable. That is one way to bounce back from a nasty loss last week and get to showcase a whole slew of roster moves. I didn't even get to show off Infernape at all. Regardless, GG1 Crash. Welcome to the new era of the Cassette Beasts edition of the Columbus Swoo. We got a whole new set of tapes, and so far it seems to be working out for us. So, with all that said, thank you guys so very much for watching. I have been Ruppy, and my Columbus Swoo and I will see you guys next time. Take care.